What's up guys, this is Ray and today we'll be talking about the 2013 Japanese movie The Crone, directed by Naito Eisuke, who directed one of my favorite movies of last year, 2018, called Liverleaf. But before we dive into this review, let's take a look at some of the captions you guys provided me when I posted my preview on social media. Coldheart44 says, "Do you know the way of Buddha?" I guess this is how we feel if we ever get stopped along the way by someone to talk about religion, I guess. Asian movie enthusiast says, "Yes, The Crone!" Well, I'm pretty sure Eric was excited just because I was going to be talking about The Crone. But taking this caption, the context of this GIF, yeah, I guess the girl in this preview seems a little bit too excited. And on Twitter, Applefrog says, "Me about to enter a DDR freestyle tournament and realizing Eiga-Man Ray is participating." Just a little background on this tweet. Applefrog know each other from playing Dance Dance Revolution. Back in the day, I used to play a lot of DDR, even in the competitive scene. And, met a lot of good folks along the way. And I laughed at this tweet because, Applefrog, what are you trying to say here? Are you trying to say I'm an old dude just trying to get in the way of things? Well, I'm an older dude, but I ain't that old. All right, back to the review. So The Crone is one of those movies where you don't watch it expecting to watch a good horror movie. It's a horror movie, but it bends to the point where it could be classified as a comedy. It's just so ridiculous, and I think it's so fun. I think when I watched it, I wasn't scared at all, but rather I was just laughing at all the different things that were popping up left and right. And just a little, something that tickled me also. I watched it on Japanese Netflix, and the Japanese title is actually Kosoku Baba, which basically means high-speed granny. And honestly, the name high-speed granny would be a more befitting name, even in English, just given the plot of this movie. And so the story of The Crone, it's about this 3-member J-pop idol unit, Jersey Girl. And, in front of the camera, they're all bright, full of smiles, cheery, but once the camera turns off, they kind of like each other. They stop talking, they start looking at their phones, and almost just act very cold towards all the other members. And one day they do a segment for this TV program, which involves them going into this, what looks like an abandoned hospital for some reason. I don't know, they probably do this kind of like, go in if you dare kind of segments just to get these kinds of reactions from the idols for the fans to enjoy. But when they go into this abandoned building, they encounter this granny, this old hag who can move really quickly. It's fitting for the name of the Japanese title of this movie. And ever since this encounter, after returning back home, all members of the idol group, as well as their manager and folks who worked with them, start experiencing some weird phenomena. This involves some of the members just doing things against their will without them actually having control of their own body, to even just seeing visions of the of the crone just floating about here and there, even getting captured on camera. And so they have to figure out how to alleviate themselves of this curse and to say goodbye to this crone. So as far as the positives of The Crone, I mean, it's hilarious. I mean, it's just, like I said in the beginning, this is a movie which you can't go in expecting a legit horror movie, although depending on who you watch it with. If you're with someone who is not really good at horror movies, there are a few jump scares that might get them. But honestly, this movie is not scary at all, but rather, I think this was made as kind of a self-aware parody. Granted, I'm pretty sure it wasn't, but it almost feels that way. Everything is just funny, and it's so bad to the point that you just can't help but laughing and entertained by all the types of gags, not really gags, but all the types of scares that they try to put at you. And generally speaking, I think genuinely the makeup of the titular character is actually pretty good. If this movie was made with a higher budget and a lot more people who cared about the production, I think the makeup could stand alone as a pretty decent movie monster. And something I thought that was interesting, the 3 idols, the 3 main girls, the way they act with each other, they're in front of the camera, as I said, they're all smiles, they're doing everything in sync, but once the camera turns off, they absolutely hate each other's guts. And then some members even go as far and pranking other members, like sticking a needle, or was it a pin, in another member's jacket just so they can stab him, playing really malicious pranks like that. But then each one of these members get their upcomings, of course. So it's kind of like you're cheering for the main girls, but at the same time, you want the crone to get rid of them. So you get kind of in this weird place, but I think for me, it's still all the more entertaining. I mean, I could dig a little deeper and try to find some more good things about this movie, but honestly, genuinely speaking, this was not a good movie at all. Like I said, like he keeps saying, this is one of those so bad that it's good. Like you end up enjoying just how ridiculous everything is. Even like the crone herself, or the high-speed granny. When she runs, she moves really quick. She's almost like a ninja. She runs down the hallway doing high-pitched squeals, like and she jumps on tables. It's actually pretty funny, although I think if I was in that situation, I would be freaking the hell out. But just watching it, especially with how low budget this movie seems, it just, I don't know, it's just very funny. But when it comes to the acting, yeah, there's nothing noteworthy in this movie. I think everyone here hasn't really got a huge filmography behind their name, save for a few small productions either on TV or other low budget movies. And that's the kind of quality you can expect in this movie, one of those low budget straight to video kind of stories. And when it comes to the titular character, the Crone, in this movie, I'm kind of in a weird place because the backstory of the Crone, I think it's interesting, and to the point where it's kind of ridiculous. With many kinds of monster movies, the reason for their being is, they're the embodiment of wrongdoings that happened either to a person in the past or a group of people. And without spoiling really much of anything about the story, the reason why the Crone is there is because, as I mentioned earlier, the girls went to like this abandoned building. Well, it turns out the abandoned building used to be an elderly home, and the patients in this elderly home were abused by the staff, and then it just accumulated into this curse. A curse that essentially sends this scary old lady out for revenge. But yeah, other than the makeup on the Crone, from a technical aspect, everything is so bad. The lighting is horrible, the camera work is bad, the direction, not so good. It's interesting because Naito Eisuke, he went and directed Liverleaf, which was a bloody amazing movie. I absolutely had a lot of fun with that. In a different kind of way, I had fun with this movie. But you look at these two works, and it's like, Naito Eisuke directed Liverleaf, but he also directed The Crone. It's like 9 Day. I guess that's what happens when you actually back a movie with a proper budget. But do I recommend The Crone? Yeah, why not? I mean, if you're looking, like I said, if you're looking for a legit, good, scary horror movie, you won't find anything like that here. You will find, a bunch of jump scares that end up turning more into gags. So in this, it turns into an accidental comedy of sorts. But definitely watch this movie if you're one of those people like I am who just love watching movies, especially horror movies, which are so bad that it end up being very entertaining. Then definitely check this out. But those are my thoughts on The Crone. What did you guys think? Please let me know in the comment section below. Please like, share, and subscribe. And remember, you can always support Asian Films via Patreon from as little as $1. And yeah, that's about it for me, guys. And as always, everyone, thank you so much for watching, and I hope to catch you all again in the next video. Take it easy.